Today, in New Orleans, the only way to survive is to make it all up as you go. This is Bending the Rules.
In a Hawaiian t-shirt.
On Stinker Madness.
Stinker Madness. Stinker Madness. Stinker Madness. We got the Stinker Madness.
It wasn't even an Hawaiian t-shirt, it was just an ugly fucking shirt.
It was, anyways, yeah, well, the movie was Bending the Rules, in case if you guys need any memory. I should probably also say that, again, Stinker Madness, in the studio this week, we have a special guest, along with Sam and Jackie. His name is Mark, and he also watched the movie with us this week. Again, Bending the Rules. How are you, Mark?
I'm great, other than regretting the movie.
Yeah. I kind of regret the last. The good news about the movie is that it ends, and it ends fairly quickly. It is a very short movie.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I did the math on it. It's 83 minutes long.
83 minutes long.
The plot doesn't start for 34 minutes, and it stops at minute 75. Meaning that for 42 minutes of an 83-minute movie, the plot is not taking place, meaning that only 41 minutes of the movie, the plot is taking place.
Less than half of the movie.
Less than half of the movie by 1 minute.
Wow, it's almost like they knew what they were doing. Like,
Yes.
We're going to cut this right in half.
I just want to throw this out there, that our improv that we did for the beginning, what do we call that?
It's not very on it.
Oh, I was close.
You were very close to it.
I was close to the lady district attorney's wife.
He never orders a hot dog, though.
Yeah.
And
she wasn't from Jersey.
the Edge is not in the car with his wife.
No.
She might have been from Jersey. I think you might be throwing yourself under the bus.
Yeah,
She
that
had
was-
a little
Some
accent.
She had an attitude.
She had
Yeah.
an attitude and a little bit of an accent. I was pretty impressed with you with how little you knew about that movie, getting her character fairly well.
I was somewhat correct in predicting that it was going to be the worst Martin and Lewis we've ever seen.
Yeah.
His
it was
best
not.
acting throughout the whole movie was when he gets tased by the police.
Which was the Jerry Lewis moment. Nice
Yeah.
lady!
Yeah, they were...
And let me just say this. If you're looking for some action-packed, sweet wrestling moves in this movie,
Then
you can
there's-
go fuck yourself.
There's none to be had.
It is not a wrestling movie.
This guy was the laziest fucking actor I have ever seen in an action movie.
I was completely right.
The most action he did was trip somebody.
There was about
In the
3
beginning
minutes.
scene, he
Yeah,
tripped
3
that
minutes,
guy.
3 minutes of action out of 83.
And we
I
get
think that that's
introduced
pushing
to-
it.
Pushing it.
Yeah, I think
I'm being
that's-
generous.
I think it's less than 3
We
minutes.
get introduced to The Edge, who was the WWE wrestler. His name is Nick Blades in the movie. He just goes by Blades
And
throughout the movie.
Most of the time.
And he has booby beads on in his opening scene because
He does
they're in
have
New
booby
Orleans.
beads.
It's like, why did you just wake up and think these booby beads are really going to
Maybe-
accentuate these hideous fucking clothes that I have
Maybe.
on?
Why are you assuming that he didn't get the booby beads by doing proper booby work?
Because there was nobody else out on the street except for that dipshit.
It
that
was
he tripped.
morning. It was morning. Maybe he slept in those beads.
He probably slept in the beads.
He could have got those beads last night.
He did mention that he was a ladies' man at various points during the film, which was hard to believe.
He didn't.
I didn't
Yeah, he didn't
believe
get
him.
ladyish with anybody.
No, he
The
didn't.
cop, he was sort of
Like,
flirty
no,
with lady.
Barely.
Those
They're
beads
gonna go to-
were important
they're-
to set up that they were in New Orleans, though.
Yes,
Along with
you
the
can't
puke.
have and the giant sign that said New Orleans.
Yep.
This is New Orleans.
I think they flashed the Bourbon Street thing like 6 or 7 times
Right.
within the first 2 minutes of the movie so that you would make that
The
connection.
the very first thing you see in the movie isn't actually Nick Blades. It's the crappiest band
Oh,
ever.
yeah. I
Montage.
forgot.
And I'm pretty sure it was Buck Cherry. She loves the cocaine. She loves the cocaine. You remember those guys?
Yeah, but it wasn't that
they
song.
suck. No, it wasn't. But I'm pretty sure it was the band. I'm pretty sure that was Buck Cherry. And the other thing about the music in the entire movie, even though it is in New Orleans, all it is Buck Cherry throughout the whole thing. There's no jazz. There's no.
Well, that's because Nick Blades probably picked all the movie music. He was like,
it
let's
was-
just get this tape out of my car that I made for myself.
It was very Edge-esque music
There was a tape
choices.
deck in the car.
I think it was 8-track, which I don't think
No, it
Buck
was a
Cherry ever
cassette
put
tape.
So I just want to point out, because this does happen in the first couple of minutes of the movie, my very most favoriteest line of this movie is Nick Blades, or Edge, has a gun pointed at him within the first 5 minutes of this movie, and he just walks towards the guy, and he's like, "You need a hug."
Yeah.
He sucks
And he's
so
just
bad.
walking
He
towards
did
him
suck.
trying to get a hug, and apparently that's like really fucking scary because the guy just jumps back
It terrified him.
in the gunmobile and leaves.
I hate hugs! Run away! I've got a gun and I'm not prepared to use it.
Tragically, this was not the most unentertaining WWE movie I've seen.
Really?
Damage with Stone Cold Steve Austin is more boring.
Huh.
There's more action in it,
Interesting.
too.
Well, maybe that's a story for another time. So the plot,
Well, that's all I had.
well, what the movie is basically about is Jamie Kennedy is a district attorney named Theo who is having a real rough time on his birthday. His car gets stolen. His wife leaves him. He can't convict Nick Blades for being a rogue cop because Nick Blades paid off the jury, I think.
He didn't. They just blocked.
But, and don't
And
forget that he did not
he
get
did
his
not
career
get-
promotion.
Yeah.
He didn't take... Oh, I thought he didn't take the
No,
promotion.
No.
they gave it to somebody else because nobody likes him.
Yeah, they
yes.
told him
He's
that
a
he was an
dick.
asshole.
Yes, he is. Oh, that's right. He is an asshole. So he's having a real tough time. And then the Studebaker Golden Hawk gets stolen. And so he has to recruit Nick Blades, the one rogue cop willing to help him, to find the...
Actually, he didn't.
He doesn't recruit
his
him,
father
so-
did.
Oh, his
Nick
father
Blades,
does,
yeah. No, Nick,
Jessica Walters, ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
and she was the best actress by far in this thing.
She probably was
She-
the best out of everybody.
She played
all
the
she
part
did
of
was-
eccentric movie star to the T. She was great.
She
The
basically
only
just
thing
played
she was-
Jessica Walter, though.
Yeah, the only thing she was missing was a cocktail in her hand.
Yeah. It was
And
the...
then she would have been Mallory Archer from... Archer.
It was the same... It was the
Yes.
same Jessica Walter that we're all very familiar with.
And love.
Yes.
She looks good. Like, for an old lady, because she was in, Arrested
Truth.
Development, like, that was about 10 years ago that show. She looks about the same, and she was
Yeah.
old back then, so...
Okay, so moment of
good
truth,
for
though.
her.
We have three gentlemen here with us today. Sam, what'd you do her?
yeah.
Justin,
I'm married.
Mark.
I hadn't thought about it, but yes.
All right, there we go. That's two yeses and I'm married for Jessica Walters. I would probably kiss her, but I'm not. I don't
It's a lame
know.
endorsement.
Well, I will say that
that's a
before
lady
I was married,
endorsement.
I will
hold her hand.
I will state for the record that before I was married, I did explicitly say if they're on TV, I will sleep with them.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
And passed the ultimate test of it because I said Oprah and he said yes.
Oh, dude, there's so many guys that would sleep with Oprah just purely because of the cash. I mean,
yeah.
it's a sweet gig. You gotta do something like Sandra Bernhard or somebody
She's
like
probably a dirty
really
lady
bad.
in the bed. The Oprah Winfrey. She's probably freaking dinky.
She probably bends rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or your penis. So he's such a crappy DA, going back to Theo, that his argument to bust Nick Blades is basically the Chewbacca defense.
Yeah.
Like, his closing statement makes absolutely no sense and has nothing.
It was words. It was words in a pile.
Words. Here's a silly monkey. Look at the silly
Yeah.
monkey.
Well, and I noticed that a lot of his lines, when he spoke more than like a line at a time, he was so just damn boring that I lost track of whatever he was saying. Like, when he went on this tangent about, I'm fighting for justice, and do you know what being a district attorney means? I'm like, blah, 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 tune your ass out.
It was more like, I'm fighting for justice, because he was Richard Dreyfussing out in this movie. Like,
He should have just peed his pants.
he just saw all the Richard Dreyfuss movies and said, I think that that's a good idea. I think I'm going to go down the Richard Dreyfuss Avenue. Take a walk down old R.D. Street. Is that a thing?
Artie's stream.
It should
I've
be
never
a thing.
heard of that.
I think it just made a thing. That's the new meme, everybody. Forget Hail Hydra. Take a walk down Artie Street.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Bending the rules.
It is.
You're betting
It's bending the rules
just gonna
of
throw that in every
comedy.
once in a while.
Yeah, that's fine.
Tie it into the movie.
So his wife leaves him because he's going nowhere. And, but you know what the thing is? He's a fucking district attorney. That's like not going anywhere. I am there.
Yeah.
I'm a goddamn DA.
Well,
what do you want?
She did basically state that he would make 3 times as much if he worked for a private firm. So she was saying...
Yeah, and he got offered the job
What she was
there.
really
So-
saying is, even though I'm loaded, I want more cash.
Right.
Yeah.
For a family.
I don't want no, what is that? I don't want no slug. The slug is a god can't get no love from
What
me.
it's not a scrub.
Scrub.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's a
Shut up, Sam.
fucking
Love that
DA
one.
scrub.
Yeah,
He's also the wimpiest DA ever. Like, that was the thing I got out of it, which I guess goes back into the RD thing, is just he has no backbone at all to stand up to anybody.
Unless he's in the courtroom, then he doesn't. Then there's no compromises.
So
And after the opening scene with him, he just looks like a strung out alcoholic for like the entire movie until the very last scene with him.
Like, was interesting because he gets pulled over by the cops after sleeping in his office, and they're like hassling him, you know, and giving him the taser and all that business. He looks like he was shit-faced.
Yeah.
Like, he looks like fucking hell.
He was having a bad day.
Bender!
Yeah, he looked like he was on a bender. So the cops don't like him. And they pull him over and say he's resisting when obviously he's not. And then they film it, which I thought seemed like a pretty bad idea. They tase him and then leave him on the side of the road. And then they play the video at the police department for everybody's amusement.
Yeah, which
He's
is
a
highly
district
illegal.
attorney. All of your badges are his now. Like,
They're going to jail, not
they
fired.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, he has the ability to put them all away.
Yeah,
But there is one cop lady in this movie, which I don't think we ever really learn her name.
Jennifer Esposito.
Yeah, Jennifer
Yeah.
Esposito's character.
And the very first scene that we see her, because she's friends with
Let's
Nick
just call her
Cage.
Rosalita.
Rosalita. So Rosalita, the very first scene that we see her, has a fan on her desk that is blowing her hair sumptuously so that
I
she
also
looks
caught that.
Yeah.
very sexy in that thing. But the bad part is that you can see the desk fan.
Yeah,
it's
right- right in front of
covering up her boobs, but you can see her hair and it's kind of flowing. It's like a little less fan, a little more
It
cleavage
was.
there, honey.
It was
That
very.
was to reinforce that
Bobby
they were in
West.
Nolans because it's warm there.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got
wow.
that from the Edge's back sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty gross.
I like in the one side though, he gets out of the car and he's got really bad back sweat, and then he's standing there talking to this little black girl about like trying to figure out who the hell she's living with or trying to find somebody. But they just kind of cut it off like right before the back sweat starts when they've got it panned onto her. You can see like his arm, but not the back sweat. Like they're like, okay, a little more to the left. We don't want to get any back sweat into this shot.
So he's doing this detective work. Nick Blades.
Yeah.
And he's at the cop shop, and
Well,
it's at the
suspended.
beginning. Yeah, he is suspended
Informally.
And the only good thing that ever happens in this movie happens at the beginning. Unfortunately, you can actually turn it off after this. Actually, you can just go to this. But it is a good joke. And him and another cop are eating donuts,
Having a conversation.
having a conversation, and they're mowing down donuts. And the more donuts they mow down, the more they speak, and the less you can understand.
It is awesome.
It was
That
really
was
fucking
awesome.
funny, and it's
It's the
just
only reason to watch a movie.
It's just so bad. Like, god damn it, you guys got it for like half a second, and then walked away from it.
Walked away from it.
Just completely walked away from it. So, right after that, the plot starts at
Wait.
No, it doesn't.
minute 34.
Wait.
That's my next note is
Oh.
minute
Wait,
34.
before we get to the plot starting. So when they tase the district attorney, they call Nick Blades. And they're like, we left a little something for you. So they leave this poor district attorney. He's been tased outside of his car. They just leave his ass on the street.
Yeah, God knows where Nick Blades is driving from.
And he
He's been
stays
for
there until
hours.
Blade shows up.
Right.
Because he's got nothing
Fuck
else
all to do, you know?
I'll just hang out.
So he's just sitting there in his car like, God damn it, it's my birthday. I've been dumped. I lost my promotion. I just got fucking tased by the cops. I'm pretty sure I sharted a little bit in my pants. So he's just kind of hanging out. Well, Nick Blades gets there, illegally parks, bending,
Again.
bending the rules.
Again.
So
We've got a list.
he gets out of his car, and I don't know, maybe all cops do this. He pulls out a lawn chair and 2 beers. Like, just sets up a lawn
Always.
chair next to this guy on the street.
Let's have a heart-to-heart.
Yeah.
I brought a long chair and 2 beers for me.
Yeah, and just
He tried to give him the beer.
yeah, he
Jimmy
tried to
Kennedy
give the
refused it.
district the attorney a beer, and he has a heart-to-heart with him, and then he's just like packs up his lawn chair and goes away. And
Yeah.
it's like, what the hell?
End
Why do
scene.
you have a lawn chair? And then I thought,
For situations like that.
okay, so later he's going to take this lawn chair and he's going to WWE somebody
Yeah,
in
he
the
shouldn't
fucking
use
face.
the lawn chair like, I'm pulling this out of the truck and I'm going to break this over your back.
Yeah, like, this is going to happen with this thing. Okay, I was all excited for the... No, that does not happen.
No
but
payoff.
he does use the lawn chair to sit in a couple more times.
He sits in the... He
I
uses
was-
it for its intended purpose.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
used the lawn chair a lot.
It served a purpose in the film. It was a plot device.
Yeah, look at the lawn chairs. Wow, that's a really nice wooden lawn chair you carry around with you.
Lawn chair.
I was impressed. It was sturdy.
So, I got a question. Why do the cops hate Theo so much? Like,
He's a jerk.
but
Because he's trying to put blades away. And
they
everybody-
don't... Obviously, they don't like him either. Because they're not willing to help Nick Blades out. And he's on suspension for bending the rules.
Well, they can't help out. He's on suspension.
Yeah.
But at no point are they like... Go up to him and be like, hey, bro, Nick Blades, so glad that you're such a cool cop. It's too bad that DA is trying to hassle you. They
Why
kind
do
of
you think
flip
they
him shit
tased
as
him?
well. That's what I'm asking. Why do the cops hate him so much?
No, they tased him in support of Nick Blades.
Right.
That is not explicitly declared at no point.
At no point is anything explicitly declared in
And-
this movie.
And at no point does anybody say
Yeah, I made that
anything
leap.
about being a bro to Nick Blades. They kind of don't treat him very well. They
Except
can't.
for the lady cop friend.
The lady
Yeah.
cop, he's got one cop friend that he can rely on, Jennifer Esposito, fangirl, and then a fat donut maker guy.
Hey, he was
Was
a
a
convict.
mobster or
Yeah,
convict
gang guy.
Yeah, but he doesn't
Never
call the
goes
cops
into
in for
that.
backup. He, in fact, says,
Make
"I
some
can't
sweet
call
donuts."
the cops in for backup. They won't help me. I got to call the donut guy." So they don't even want to fucking help him.
Which, really, that's the other thing. The only thing I really noticed about this movie is that it implies that every business in all of New Orleans is somehow linked to organized crime.
Right. Yes. Which is probably true. I have no evidence
Whoa,
to
whoa.
say that's not the case.
There were plenty of other businesses that he didn't go to that probably aren't linked
The
with crime.
sandwich shop that he didn't
He is
hassle
a
anybody at
detective.
the
He would
sandwich
know
shop.
which one's
yeah.
more linked with crime.
He
I
was
think we're
able
making a judgment
to
call that we
wrongfully
shouldn't be.
imprison a man at the sandwich shop, though. So they're willing to turn avert
up
their
blind
eyes.
eyes,
Yeah,
yeah.
blind eyes. That's the statement. So
So we should say that the main villain in this is called Willie Van Bieber.
but he's not.
It's his...
It's his daughter. Spoiler alert, because I'm assuming you've seen the movie. I guess that we have an open spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
but I made the
This
connection
is
with Justin
all spoiler,
Bieber at
yeah.
that point. Like,
I did. I also was like, Bieber?
really? Somebody's 14-year-old daughter was like,
Bieber?
Daddy, you're going to be in a WWE movie. Can we name the bad guy we never ever fucking see?
Yeah,
as
he doesn't.
Justin
He
Bieber?
doesn't ever show up. There is no Willie Van Buren
He was in prison
or Bieber.
on death row.
They should have at least
You
shown
at least-
him like
you made a shot of
done
him.
Yeah, like a
something.
mugshot or...
Yeah, or like just like I'm Willie Van Bieber and I'm gonna get that DA, that son of a bitch, and his Nick Blades pal. That would have
You know, you kind of sounded like...
the hot dog vendor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
maybe
the
the hot dog vendor was Willie Van Bieber.
Maybe.
I think we wrote a better movie yesterday. So yeah, that's I didn't get that like anything. So Alicia Witt, she ends up being Willie
bad guy.
Van Bieber's daughter, correct?
Yes.
And
Illegitimate.
I remember back in the day of Alicia Witt when she was on Sybil that she was on a lot of covers of magazines. She was thought to be an attractive woman. There's a reason she doesn't have a career anymore.
I thought she was hot still.
I did too.
I
I'll
thought
second
she
that
looked
motion.
like a cantaloupe facially, and her acting was about as good as a cantaloupe's.
The acting wasn't so good. The back end was real nice.
I think you stick a set of buns on a cantaloupe and pay it $2, and you're gonna get the same performance.
You stop that. She's a nice lady.
I didn't say it. I didn't. Is she your betrothed? Are you rushing to Hollywood
she's
to
hot.
track down Alicia
Still
Witt?
got it.
Oh, wait, let's get to the next best scene in this movie. So after you watch the donut scene, fast forward to a scene where Nick Blades is breaking into this old guy's house. And
That was
you
a good
see
scene?
A card table with 4 old men, all in, like, various
were
kinds
those
of
guys?
underwears.
Were they
All
playing
of the
cards?
underwears are dirty, stained, and fucking holy.
And
So it's kind of realistic.
huge,
And white.
huge
Oh,
underwear.
yeah.
Previously white.
Previously white. And they're all, like, the one guy that they really focus in on has, like, a pair of long-handled
johns,
underwears on. They're way too tight. He is way fat, and
He
it's
has
got holes on them.
he has a bunt.
I don't think they were underwear. I think they were tights. I really did.
No, they were long-handled underwear.
He had a bunt in the front.
Yeah. And they kicked the shit out of some guy with an eye patch. It's like this pirate comes in. We haven't seen the pirate before. And they just put a dog collar on him and start, like, beating the shit out of this guy.
And he just, like, shows up, like,
Hey,
enter bad guy. Like, he was just standing there.
Yeah, like...
For, like, 20 minutes waiting for this to happen.
Weren't there
Nick
guards
Blades
outside
here.
that building? That's
yeah,
why
there
they
was
snuck
there
up
was the
back way.
giant fattest thug of all time out front,
Yeah.
and then some other Guido-looking dude. And so Nick Blades has to take the fire escape entrance or whatever. How did the pirate guy get in there?
Yeah, I don't know how any of it happened.
Why did the pirate guy get in there?
I don't know.
I honestly thought during that scene that he was holding the guys playing cards hostage.
I thought he was their bodyguard. And then
I thought he was with them and then
they
start beating the shit. Like, what is going on here?
That was weird. Like, I don't. That was.
But old guys kicking ass. You can tell that the Edge was like, you know what? My grandpa's going to be in this movie. We are having an old man in their underwear scene.
They probably were somebody's grandpa's. Is his name Edge or The Edge?
The Edge. I don't know. I think it's The Edge.
Because the guitarist for U2 is named The Edge.
The Edge.
Yeah, that confused me at first. Before I knew
Why
it was
is
a
he
wrestling
the
movie.
That's not the guy from U2.
That guy's way too.
When I saw WWE at the credits and started laughing, that's when I realized it wasn't going to be the guy from U2.
The Edge, huh? I didn't know he was getting into this.
I do want to say something, though. When the old man beat up the pirate with the eye patch, that was pretty much the most wrestling we saw in the movie.
There was absolutely no
you're right.
wrestling.
Yeah.
At no point
That was the most physical action we saw.
And what is his name? Aaron Copeland?
They were in a
Adam
karate
Copeland.
dojo at one point. No wrestling.
Yeah, no wrestling in the dojo.
The most badass person in the karate dojo was like an 8-year-old boy with a stick.
And then
Sweep
the
the
Edge
leg.
took him hostage.
Yeah.
Put a gun to his head to get out of the dojo. Nice, Nick Blades.
That was another one of his rules being bent. I
I
want
had a little bit, though.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about the Edge a little more, or Edge, whichever it may be, Adam Copeland. He's got a Rise Above tattoo on his arm that's pretty butt.
Yeah. He was a top rope guy.
Is that what that means, or does that have something to do with
It's
the band?
probably like
I
Rise Above.
fucking love Rise
like,
Above, because they're basically Buck Cherry as well.
I didn't know that was a band.
Yeah, they're basically Buck Cherry. They do that tough guy, crappy...
Something cooler.
Yeah,
I think it's like probably...
super tough man music.
Well,
Yeah.
so his name's The Edge. He's got a Rise Above tattoo. There's a good chance he's a straight edger.
Maybe he is all of that and likes Rise Above.
And he goes off the top rope.
It's a really buck tattoo.
Yeah, if he was to walk in here right now, I'm just saying, I'd be like, oh my god, that was like the best movie ever. Because, like, I don't know, what were you saying? His movie's the Spear? I wouldn't
move
want to
is
get
The Spear.
speared. Like, he'd probably just stand on a chair and kick my ass, and I'd be like, oh no, that was a great movie.
No way. I would climb up on top of the couch and give him the people's elbow.
You have to, the people's elbow's a running maneuver.
Loser!
Yeah, but Justin bends the rules, okay?
That's right. The rules of wrestling. What's with the crazy eyes?
He's just a weird looking dude.
Is he a weird looking dude, or
Yeah.
does he intentionally give crazy eyes?
No, he's just a weird
to
looking
everybody?
guy.
Like some of his line delivery was like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude, he's only
And
got...
then crazy eyes the whole time he's doing that. Like,
He's only
what
got
the
like
fuck,
two
man?
real emotions. He's got the smile and the I don't really give a shit look. Like just that blank.
Right.
Chicken
Yeah.
meat. I'm cool.
Yeah.
Super crazy eyes.
He was a better actor than some of the other actors.
He was
in the movie.
so much better actor than Terry Hogan in
Oh yeah.
as Rip Thomas. But Rip Thomas is easily one of the most awesome characters to ever watch on television or on screen of all time. So, go fuck yourself, Edge. You're no Terry Hogan.
Yeah, and really
You come to my house, you're getting a people's elbow.
yeah, and really like you're a professional athlete that is going around kicking people's asses for a living, and you know what? You just did not fucking deliver. I was so damn disappointed.
He did not fight anyone in the movie.
No, he didn't, which
No.
makes me think that I could get away with giving him the people's elbow. Afterwards, I would probably want to have his autograph still, but it's a chance. I'm willing to take.
Even if I break my coffee table.
And my head. So, I'm pretty lost on where we are on the plot.
Okay, so let's go to the dojo.
I mean,
because that's-
the movie,
That
not
happened
plot.
several times during the movie, though, so we're not that far off.
So, so they're all they're doing is chasing
We
leads.
didn't mention that the plot propels itself when Jamie Kennedy, the district attorney's mom, tells them to go. And so that's like, it's a mission created by somebody's mom.
Wait, you gotta find that car.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the only
My
reason
best
she
Jessica
figures it out
Walter.
about the car is because the dad locks himself in the district attorney's bedroom.
No, that was
With
his
a gun.
dad's
Bedroom.
bedroom. Yeah, that was his parents' house.
Yeah, so he locks himself in there with a gun, and the Edge shows up, Nick Blades, because he's trying to help find the car or whatever. So he's stopping by the parents' house for whatever the fuck
because
reason.
It was the DA's house.
No, it was the
No, it was
parents'
his parents' house.
Really?
The car was still registered to the father.
No,
Yes, the car was still registered to the father. It was the parents' house.
Because-
That's why he's
Mark
there.
is right. It is.
It is not, because he's married and she has the house. She kicks him out of the house because it's her parents' house.
Right, but she leaves with the kids, right?
No, she doesn't.
takes his car.
No, she does. That house
go to her
is
parents' house.
Her parents' house.
No.
The other house where his dad is at
Is his
is
dad's
not the
house.
same house.
It's a different house.
It is a different house.
And the reason
Okay,
that
no,
the Edge
it's
goes
not.
there, yes, it is.
Yes.
Because he's like, I don't know, Dad. She bought this bed. Because that's the whole scene where the dad is
Your
in the
mother. His
No,
mother
his-
bought the
the
bed.
bed was a gift to the father from the son, but he's implying that his wife paid for it because she had all the money.
bed. All right, well, that wasn't clear to me then.
Yeah.
None of it's clear.
No. But, so he shows up there. Nick Blades is already there. Saves his dad. Jessica Walter finds out that the hawk is missing and team up.
Right. And they
Because
have
Mom
and
says so.
we get to see a little bit of a softer side of the district attorney because him and his dad bond over how soft the damn
Oh,
mattress is.
Mattresses.
Character development, huh? Oh,
Yeah. And it looked like the dad died in that scene. And Justin was like,
I wrote down a
I
note
think he
saying,
just died.
"Is the
Oh
dad
my
dead?" Because the next thing you see is like, "Sorry about your dad. He's dead.
like he
He just
died
fell
in the
asleep
bed.
out of nowhere." But it turns out he just fell asleep.
Okay, so next scene is the dojo, which we kind of already mentioned with the little
Is it?
8-year-old
Well, it
who has
isn't,
all
but
this
it's
action.
the next.
It's the next
important
worthy
scene,
scene to talk about. They just all that happens up to this point is they're just chasing leads for some reason. Like they're just going to everybody that they know basically and saying,
Yeah.
"Hey, are you the guy? Have you seen the hawk? Are you the guy? Okay, I'm out of
You're
here."
the guy.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't
Let's
figure
go to the
out
next person.
that the old people, it was revealed as later that the one guy in the red shirt who he gave the money that belonged to Quinn was Quinn's father.
Quinn? Who's Quinn?
The guy that he was trying to find that he found in the trailer at the golf course.
I thought his name was like Quill or Quanto.
I thought his name was Quill.
Yeah.
Quill? It's Q something.
Maybe it's Quaid.
Not a
Quiche.
little guy.
Start the reactor.
We should have watched that movie.
Oh, we totally should have watched that movie.
So the first thing I noticed about the dojo scene, right, they walk into this dojo, they're going to question this dick, the dojo master, and I'm like, oh my god, look how dirty these people's feet are!
They're gross feet.
And nobody else caught it, so we had to rewind it like twice so that we could take a look at all of these dirty feet. I mean, these people just didn't have a little bit of dirt. I mean, it was like solid black, like, hey everybody, let's go walk out in the dirty, dirty ass streets of New Orleans, try not to step on any hypodermic needles, and then let's go into this dojo.
Everybody in the dojo also is seriously adult. They are also seriously, like, very
It was a very diverse.
bodybuilder shaped.
there was some-
like, all of them were buff guys.
Did you see
There was
the-
an old guy with a cane. There was
Yeah,
a
and
lady.
There
he
was
had
an old guy
really
with a
There was a
ugly feet.
child. I mean, it was a diverse group.
I guess that's true. There was
the
a
old
child.
guy with the cane, like, everybody all of a sudden has fucking weapons. And he turns around, he's got a cane. I'm like, not only do you have the blackest feet in there, old dude, but now you've got a cane? And then not Rip,
Wrong
Nick
movie.
Blades, the Edge there, gets taken out by an 8-year-old with a stick.
Yeah. He does have to punch an 8-year-old kid and then use him as a hostage.
He didn't punch me, he swept the leg.
He swept the leg, whatever. He struck a child.
Yeah.
And then used it as a human shield.
Operation Human Shield Child.
with a gun up against its head. It's like, this is a great movie.
Bending the rules.
That's bending the rules quite a bit right there, bud.
Yeah.
So
In
He
his
took a
defense,
stick, too.
it was a whole room full of hostile karate guys, and they even called them karate guys.
yeah,
Hey, karate guys.
Karate guys with tramp stamps.
Oh,
Yeah, the man
that's
had
right.
a tramp stamp.
they all had
About
tramp
that.
stamps. It's just oh
Well,
boy,
assuming some of the clothing blocked it, but I think they all did.
they might have all had tramp stamps.
They probably did. They were like, okay, we're going to be in this movie together. Everybody walk over to this tattoo parlor across the street, get your tramp stamp, and then walk
Get some
back.
ganji or whatever. What's that shit called?
Kanji.
Kanji. I think it should be called ganji, but
Kanji.
that's
Well,
the only
some
reason
of it,
why.
I'm sure, says Ganji.
Yeah. No, it all says bathroom is on left.
Yeah.
None of it actually says anything of any relevance. So the funny thing is that right after the karate dojo scene, the karate guy escapes and goes to a Camry. And at the time, you were led to believe that the bad guy's plot is they're just car thieves and they're stealing sweet cars. But then the Camry is on this car list to be stolen.
the first car on the list that he goes and sees is like a '02 Subaru Outback wagon.
Yeah, it's just like in some ghetto-ass neighborhood.
Yeah, like-
and you're like,
Yeah.
Forest Green, that's highly desirable.
That is
in the black market.
We should make a list for that car. And then the next place he goes to has a Chevy truck. But it turns out that they're not just nicking cars. The license plates that they're chasing are identifying markers for people that they need to whack.
Yeah.
yeah,
which-
because we figured this out with the dojo guy, right?
Yeah, after the
He
dojo
runs to
guy.
the Camry that's on the list.
Yeah.
And gets shot.
And he gets whacked.
He gets
Taser.
tased
Thrown in the
first.
trunk.
And then shot.
Yeah, by the parking
Right.
attendant.
By the parking
guy.
attendant. Which is
Okay.
kind of
Then
strange.
writes a ticket to the edge. So
And
like
just
that's
like,
deep cover right
See
there.
you
Oh,
later.
yeah.
He's actually a parking attendant.
Okay, here's what caught me though was he's a professional hitman. He put 2 in the chest and 1 in the head, or maybe 1 in each.
Double tap.
He just
But
he
later
double
on, we
tapped
find
it.
out the guy lived long enough to make a phone call.
He
So
did.
apparently he's not a
I
good
don't
assassin at
remember
all.
I know.
I'm in the trunk.
Yeah, that's what happened. He called the police and he's
Oh
like,
yeah,
I've
he
been
called the
shot and I-
FBI from
Right,
his
because
trunk.
he was an informant.
Yeah, because 911 would have been too complicated. He had to call his buddy in the FBI direct.
Well, the 911 business in this movie doesn't make very much sense at any point because the cop,
guess
Jennifer
we're looking at the
Esposito,
informant.
Jennifer Esposito's
Yeah.
got a goddamn radio attached to her arm, and she looks at Jamie Kennedy. Call 911. No, use your fucking radio.
Why did you come here alone?
Yeah, ding dong. Are you?
Well, not to mention that who in the
This shit's
hell's
gonna
going
go
to answer
down.
his
I
call,
brought
right?
the
That's
district
what-
attorney, but no other fucking police officers.
Yeah. The,
Great, and then she gets fucking shot instantly. Like she's the worst
That
fucking cop
was
ever. an
epic scene.
That was the
That
other
was
worth
great.
it. Like freeze. Okay, I'm gonna shoot you.
No, it wasn't even that quick of a decision. It was freeze, bang,
down.
no.
Which is what should happen when anybody says freeze. That's usually like freeze. You're gonna get shot. You're giving them a chance to shoot you.
well, not to mention that, it's been established already in this movie that the police department hates Theo, the district
Yeah,
attorney.
doesn't want to help him
So why in the fuck would they come to his 911 call? Like,
because he is going to die. I mean, you can hate a guy, but come on, you're still fucking cops.
well, if he died though, the blade would get off. Blades
Blade
would
got
get
off anyways.
Well, I wanna-
There's
when
no
he-
connection. The
when he
cops
made-
don't like Nick Blades. I
They
don't
don't
care
like
what you
anybody.
say.
They didn't like
No,
doing stuff.
the cops in New Orleans, and this is the overtone of the whole movie, is don't move to New Orleans.
Yeah, the cops are dickheads.
They are dickheads. They are not there
if
to
you
help
crash
you.
your bike, they'll honk your horn and be like, get out of the street.
Get straight.
Get out of the street.
I'm bleeding. I have a
Get out of the
concussion,
street.
and I think my neck is broken. You need to move along, sir.
Or I'll write you a citation for laying in the street. but none of the other fucking people that you see in every picture of New Orleans laying in the street.
So they chase some more guys around. They find the guy with the midget head, the little person head. Sorry, he's built awkwardly.
Quinn, Quail,
Quaid.
Quiff,
anyway.
Quiche.
They have to play golf in front of the trailer before going into his trailer. But then he's like, why are we playing golf instead of going in? And Nick Blades is like, you gotta slow things down every now and then and think things through, or some bullshit like that. But then 4 seconds later, after he realizes he hates golf, he just goes barreling in full guns. I'll just go in there now because I hate golf. Why did you even play? What's with the golf scene?
And
So that he could do his little wrestler
so that
jump.
we could see that,
Wrestler jump?
Yeah, like he got kind of pissed and agitated and he hit the club down and then he did this little jump like he does when he's wrestling.
I don't think
Like a little
so.
tantrum jump. And then he was like, fuck this, I'm gonna go on and get this
She's
guy.
right. He does do the
Do a
tantrum jump.
yeah.
That is nice pickup.
Yeah.
Huh.
He did a tantrum
And
jump.
we also
So there was a wrestling move after all.
Yeah, it's a wrestling movie.
And it introduces Jamie Kennedy as a golf pro, and then you see him fucking shanking.
Like they couldn't have shot that scene again.
Yeah, they could. Or they just,
Watch this.
whack you
Take
like straight
notes.
sideways.
You've just killed a duck.
Watch this and move your head because I'm going to hit you. You're standing next to me. That's usually which direction the ball flies.
That
when
one
I
went to
swing.
the freeway. Good job. So they bust into the trailer. Nick Blades then gets captured, held at gunpoint by Qui-Gon Jinn's trailer girlfriend?
Trailer girlfriend.
Trailer girlfriend. Yeah.
Who has a rifle or a pistol that's about the size of her arm. Like, she shouldn't have been holding a gun that big. It would have hurt her. It would have put her through the wall. But then, out of nowhere, Theo comes in with his own fucking gun, and he's prepared to use it now. When did that character transition happen? Because he went from Richard Dreyfuss
But
to,
it was an accurate
hey,
predictor.
don't fuck with Nick Blades.
Nick
He's
Blades
my
was
bro.
right. He said that you'll shoot me long before I find your car. And it happened.
Yeah, because obviously Nick
That is
Blades
interesting.
at this point is handcuffed to a hide-a-bed, which is always in a trailer. You never notice that anyway.
True.
So,
Actually, I slept on a hide-a-bed until I was about 13, so.
see, handcuffed to a hide-a-bed. So he's handcuffed to this hide-a-bed, and the gunfight is happening, and he just puts up the arm that's not
Handcuffed, yes.
handcuffed, and like is trying to Wonder Woman bracelet the bullets away from his face.
And he does.
And he does, and he gets shot right in the arm.
It ricochets off of his arm. He just got cut by the bullet.
Yeah.
Didn't go in. Bounced right off.
He was grazed.
Yes, he's very, very athletic and very
Bulletproof.
bulletproof. So,
As much as Gary Busey, but not quite.
no. Where's Nightmare, Ballhorn?
Butthorn.
What happens after that, though? Like,
They give up and then fall ass backwards into something.
Yeah, it's like the
I kind
mom.
of tuned out for a while.
Yeah, it was.
So then it just all kind of gets confusing, but then all of a
Yeah,
sudden,
they go to
the
dinner.
cool guy gets away.
They go to dinner at his parents' house.
Oh, yes, that's
The birthday
right.
dinner.
The birthday dinner.
And this dickhead DA, apparently his birthday lasts for 2 fucking days.
It's a 2-day birthday.
Yeah.
That's one of the rules that was bent.
Yes, reality of time.
Yeah, it's like
And-
they just kind of forgot that they shot the night scene earlier in the movie, and they're like, "No, this is the same day."
Yeah.
Nick Blades gets a tip while on the John, and then they have to go pursue the tip, which I think sets up the climactic battle
Yes.
scene. And so on the way, he calls the donut guy and says, "Back me up." They go there. Esposito gets shot, and there's
I
a
thought we were
gunfight.
calling her Rosarita.
Oh, Rosalita gets shot.
Rosalita.
Whatever.
Freeze! Gets shot by Alicia Witt, who is the bad
Guy.
And then some other thugs.
So then-
Then
random
everybody
thugs
just shows up. The
all
guy,
at
the
once.
donut guy, shoots everybody except one person who shoots him.
And then he gets
And then
shot,
he
and then
gets
he's dead.
shot. Everybody's
And then
dead.
they drive
And
away.
during this,
This all
during
takes place
this
in like
battle
43
scene,
seconds.
Blades, like, just kind of like, okay, so the lady cop gets shot, then the other shit just starts going down. And Blades just kind of like
He jumps behind his car.
jumps and hides during this gunfight.
You don't see that. It just happens.
No, you see him jump.
I saw
Jump
him bail.
behind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
he
like,
bails.
fuck this shit. He jumps in behind his car.
Yeah. And then
Hero.
all of a sudden it's like the battle is over and everybody's dead, but then the redhead,
She was
Daughter-
she was
Oh, yeah.
pretending to be dead.
I'm mostly dead.
she was playing possum, so she gets back up and she's going to shoot the district attorney.
Right.
Yeah.
And why did the district attorney drive right into the middle of this gunfight? Like he's in a cop
He
car.
just
Taco the International.
Taco the International. Which is why this has instantly become one of my most hated films, because they fucked up 2 cars that I don't care if they weren't that nice. They could have been nice.
Well, they were nice
Fucked up-
enough.
They were nice enough
Yeah.
to be restored.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, it was a real
They
bad call.
destroyed 2 cars.
I think the International might be okay.
It might be.
Anyway, so the Blades shows back up at the very end of the scene. The bad woman's got the DA at gunpoint, and he just comes out of nowhere, and he's like, BAM! Like, just shoots her.
She's dead.
Yeah.
hey, drop it, or he says, don't move, and then she moves, and so he blasts her.
Yeah.
That was the only rule he didn't break, was don't get shot rule. So, they did that.
Yeah.
So, but then they just leave all the corpses there, and the next thing that they're doing is dropping Rosalita off at her house. Even though she just took one to the chest, she had a bulletproof vest on, sure. You still have to go to the hospital after that. You could
It usually
have
breaks her ribs.
seriously bad internal injuries after taking one in the chest with a bulletproof vest. Bruised lungs.
But she was going to lay in the bathtub for 85 years, is what she said.
Oh, that's gonna feel so good. I'll get some of that bath salt stuff.
Well, she needed to get back to being the worst cop ever.
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty sure that he's the worst cop. Well, they're both pretty bad cops. But
she's terrible because
she is terrible.
doesn't. She's like, call 911. Then she gets shot. He doesn't do anything that stupid. She's much worse than.
And
he
they both leave all the bodies.
And they both leave all the bodies.
Yeah.
And when he calls 911, he's like, it's a police emergency. I wanted a radio dispatcher to be like, well, if it was a police emergency, they would have called us on the fucking radio.
Yeah, exactly. So
You know, honestly, we don't even know if they ever showed up.
They didn't. The
cops?
They just, no.
Right.
No one ever shows
No.
up. They
Scene
just leave.
ended.
no, those bodies are still there.
It's like, well,
They are still
that's
there,
done.
out in the streets behind a warehouse in New Orleans.
The one cop showed up momentarily, honked his horn, was like, get out of the streets.
Yeah.
All right, I'm moving. Whatever.
That's
and
the
then
only-
drove off.
That's-
And then there's the parking ticket guy. So speaking of the parking ticket guy, they find a bunch of parking slips
Discover that the car had not been stolen.
in the glove box of the someplace. He just finds some parking slips.
No, that was from the mom.
No,
That's from
the
mom.
hotel. So this is the Jamie Kennedy's character's like. These are hotel receipts. My dad wouldn't get a mistress, but he would pay for a hotel for the car
to park the car at.
to park the car at.
the
the
Hawk.
car
And
isn't
not leave it on
even
the
stolen to begin with.
It was. Why is it safer there? Because it was parked. It was implied
It's like-
that it was parked in a garage at his house,
And now it's just parked on the
now
top
it's
of-
just parked out in front of a building or on top of a
in the-
building.
in
He wanted
sun.
to drive around, but he didn't want to park it on the street, so he put it in a parking garage to protect it. However,
Why doesn't he park it in his garage?
parked in his garage.
That's too far away. He was downtown partying or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
But
Maybe.
he parks in the parking garage, but he parks it on the top level in the sun.
Yeah. No, that was a bad call.
Yeah.
So they find the Hawk. It's at the garage. But then also the parking attendant guy is also
waiting.
there in wait. And so he shoots the Hawk up, and they decide the best move to whack him, to get him, is to play a game of chicken with him in the Hawk. And
It wasn't implied that it was even chicken. It was, I'm going to run into you.
Yeah,
He's
I'm gonna-
like, well, I'm going to run into you.
yeah,
fuck it.
Let's fuck it. We're not wearing our seatbelts. Fuck it.
Yeah,
so they
and
do.
he's like, apologize to your dad for me. Like, because at this point, Nick Blades is driving this car because he's earned it.
He has earned a trip in the Hawk. And the best way to stop the bad guy in the Ford Ranger is to head on.
And he plays along. He's like, fuck it. I will drive into you as well.
Now, here's the funny thing is, yes, they're doing about 20 when they collide. Sure. You know, there's not a whole lot of runway, and a Hawk is not a very fast car, neither is a Ford Ranger. The Ford Ranger was probably made in about, what would you say, a 2008, 2009 model
It was
Ranger?
like an 05, maybe.
Okay, so by safety standards, has to have an airbag.
Yeah.
Has to have seatbelts, obviously.
Yep.
Has to have crumple zones.
Uh-huh.
And has to have, well, I think that's pretty much it for head-on. Oh, and the safety glass.
Yeah.
The Hawk
None of that.
is just going to be a big chunk of metal.
We don't even know if the Hawk has seatbelts.
That's about it.
Because it's so old.
But
Right, and we
the,
never see them have seatbelts on in this Hawk.
but
entire
they
movie.
completely taco the Hawk and the Ford Ranger, and the
guy dies.
bad guy dies. He's
it.
dead. He's dead from
But
it.
he was wearing a seatbelt, which is amazing because the Hawk didn't have seatbelts. They probably would have went through the windshield.
Yes.
And they just got out and were like, yeah, that guy's fucking
They would have
dead.
suffered serious neck injuries.
Yes.
Yeah, like, the Ford Ranger they just pretty much...
They would have died before the
there.
guy in the Ford Ranger.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Unquestionably. That Ford Ranger guy probably would have been very comfortable. Like, oh, that was a nice collision. I think I'll have some tea. Those guys are dead.
Two
Yay.
chest, bam.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
hopefully he learned his lesson and puts one more in.
other than some epilogue, everybody gets to feel good crap at the end, that's pretty much the movie.
The car is just a car.
The car is just a car. His dad is okay, son. Nick Blades
The
gets
DA
off
the
on
DA learns-
being a rogue cop.
Even though it is clearly stated That he'd been stealing, skimming drug dealers'
He had
money.
been skimming
So he
money.
probably should have gone to
He
jail.
probably should have gone to jail. Absolutely.
Yeah, because he had to pay for his daughter's private school or something.
Oh, that's
shit like that.
that's excusable. That's excusable. Accepting bribes from
So
organized crime.
yeah, but the lesson though is the DA learned how to just not think in black and white terms. He saw all the colors of the rainbow.
I shall
saw
also
and
bend
the
some
forest
rules.
for the forest.
The
Yeah.
gray for the forest.
Yeah, the
gray
gray
for
from
the
the
forest.
forest. I thought it was gray for
That
the
was the
farce.
direct
The
line
farce
from
for
the
the
movie, by
gray
the way.
or something like that.
Yeah.
So
That's a little wisdom passed on by Mark.
we did a count. We did a count of the rules that were bent by Nick Blades and Theo Guy. We've got talking on the phone while driving,
Which is against the law there.
apparently in Louisiana.
Yep.
Stopping in the middle of traffic.
Yep.
I can't do that. Breaking and entering 2 times. Arresting a man for absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
He even said, I didn't arrest this man for anything.
Anyway, he tells the guy when the lady cop Rosalita is taking him off. He's like, "Well, how long am I going to be in here?" And he's like, "Well, as long as it takes for you to tell me what I arrested you for."
Right. Many parking violations.
Yeah, he doesn't park
Parks wherever.
at any point in the film.
It goes with the douchebag music.
He also stole exact same criminal's money,
Yeah.
nicked it right out of his pocket. Then he fires a gun in public at a public building.
Yeah.
Breaks the light, shoots a light out. It's illegal. Uses a kid as a hostage. We covered that. Jaywalking. Many counts of jaywalking. Planting evidence. He planted evidence. That's a bad one. No seatbelts were ever worn in this movie. Wrongful imprisonment of Jamie Kennedy. Attached him to the car. I took bribes. Bribed the jury.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I still don't know what happened with that.
You don't know that. That's just talk on the street.
A good one is that when he was at the birthday party, even though he didn't actually poop, he didn't wash his hands after pretending to poop. So he should have faked washed his hands, which implies that after he poops, he does not wash his hands at a guest house.
That is an important rule that should not be broken.
Yes,
That's the
Do
one that you
not
don't
let
bend.
him prepare your food or grab ice with his bare hands.
Actually, just don't invite him over. He drank and drove because they had like 3 glasses of wine during dinner, and then they watched a movie while drinking wine, and then they had to go to a shootout.
He sat in his lawn chair and drank beers after trying
That's
to get
correct.
rid of Jamie
That's
Kennedy
correct.
and most likely
in the
drove
middle
off.
of the street.
In the middle of the street.
Didn't use
Drinking in the middle of the street is illegal.
That was also illegal. Drinking in
Open
public.
container.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it in New Orleans, though?
I don't think. Oh,
You
Actually,
can't
I don't
drink in the middle of the
open.
street.
It depends on where you're at, I suppose.
You can't sit.
Yeah, I think you
We'll,
can hand drink.
we'll allow that one. We can let that one slide. Failure to use your turn signal. Drove around with a shot out windshield that you couldn't see out of.
Oh, and a busted headlight, too.
Busted headlight, correct. Leaving the scene of crime. We already got that. Reckless endangerment because he was like, hey, you're in the car with me. Fuck it. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
I got to take this guy
I'm
out.
going to run into him.
And then Mark
Driving
just brought
speed.
a new one to me right before we started this. At the very beginning, he ducks out of the metal detector at the cop shop.
Oh,
Going into the courthouse.
Bypasses
Yep.
the metal detector.
That's
so
a federal law.
that is a federal law. That's a
Yeah.
big one. Yeah. Yeah. So I counted that up. Oh, and including Jamie Kennedy's bending the rule at the end as well as far as letting Nick off. 20 exactly rules bent
Ah.
by those two. Even 20.
Which is why the movie was so short.
Yeah.
Because whoever was
God.
writing the script, you're probably right, was like, what else can we have them do?
I'm starting to run out
You know
of things
what?
that he can
It is
bend.
so diabolical when people do not use their blinkers.
Oh, yes. That's seriously evil. That implies he's...
So mostly moving
Bad guy.
violations. That
Mostly traffic, but a couple felonies. You can't do those things.
And he was on it, though, in the law, when he would threaten people when they were investigating this whole thing, is that he would tell them, I'm a cop, he'd show his badge, but he'd be like, but technically I'm on suspension.
Just so you know. But I am going to shoot you.
Yeah.
But then he doesn't
In the
shoot anybody.
face.
And you are going to have to pay me money after I shoot you.
Yeah.
And I really expected, okay.
But ultimately, I'm a
he
good
was
enough
getting
guy.
drawn out, and I was thinking when he went to Aunt Jemima's shack for some ribs, and there were all these convicts there sitting around on all these little tables, that there was going to be some WWE
Oh, God. You
business.
just kept waiting for it. You just kept waiting for,
Waiting
here's
for
the scene.
anything.
Here's the scene. We're going to have a body slam here. Nope.
Yeah, some of those guys looked like they were ready to go, and
Yeah.
it was like,
The guys at the karate
Yes!
shop, it just kept going and going, and you're like, oh my god, choke slam somebody, please.
Yeah, and then you're thinking he gets captured and they take him to the donut shop.
Why are you in this movie?
And you're like, yeah, okay, here we go.
The closest thing to wrestling
And then he
is...
just orders like 7 maple bars and 2 sugar-coated blah, blah, blahs. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
He should have fucked up the donut shop. Totally just fucked it
When
up.
he was pals with that guy.
Yeah.
Still.
The worst he did in there was kick that one dude in the nuts.
Rip Thomas would have fucked it up.
Rick Thomas would have fucked it up. Rick Thomas fucked up a hotel room just trying to sleep in it.
Just cuz.
Just because he's too big.
So,
And there was no lady interest in this movie. at
no
all.
romance. No
They,
romance.
set up several potential love interests that never went anywhere.
Well,
Yeah.
at the
And he
very
said that
end,
he
it says
was-
they're going to lunch tomorrow at the Whole Food Deli.
Ooh.
Ooh, big damn deal.
Ooh.
Because, you were right, Sam. He said earlier, he's like, I'm a ladies' man.
Yeah.
Look at my penis.
What?
And
It was
he's just,
implied.
yeah, it was implied.
It was
Big
implied
fat-
he was saying, look at my penis.
Hey, you look something cooler with something in your mouth. Buck Jerry, baby, I think. Anyway.
That's Nickelback.
Oh, god
That
damn
is-
it.
Dude,
I heard the neighbors
it's the same
playing
band.
it.
It's the same band.
So anyway, my point is that I just can't recommend this movie.
No.
Here's my recommendation. Watch Total Recall instead.
Yeah. Yeah, we should have watched Total Recall. That
Yeah.
movie's awesome.
And of course, I picked this movie based solely off the cover. I was like, oh, it's going to be a wrestling movie.
It was
There's
seriously
gonna be
disappointing.
Some, like, tough guy bullshit that'll be kind of funny, or there'll be some great one-liners in here. The best one-liner they had in the entire movie was, do you need a hug? You're pointing a fucking gun at me wearing a ski mask. Do you need a hug?
Yeah.
And I actually do need a hug after watching that movie.
You know what I have to do? I have to go poop.
I do too.
Yeah, we gotta end this. Would you recommend it, Mark?
I would not recommend
Okay.
this movie.
Don't do bending the rules, and we will see you next time on Stinker Madness. Thanks for listening.